Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hot Plates and Grapes podcast. My name is Aaron Mays. I have here with me Eric Fleming, sommelier and creator of the Gay Wine Club, and also Open Wine Forum as well, a member of that. I want to start off by saying hello. How you doing?
Hello.
It's good to see you again.
I'm good. Yeah, I know. You too. Hopefully we can get this right. Yeah. Get it right this time.
Exactly. So how's the fam doing? How are you just overall? And how's Puerto Rico? I know you made a great transition, a great move to there. Like, how's that?
Yeah, Puerto Rico's been absolutely magical. I feel like I'm still feeling like a little bit selfish being able to say all of this, but it's just been incredibly easy being here. And I think after going through the worst of the pandemic in New York City and like in my building alone in Brooklyn, like every day we would come downstairs and it would be like a new funeral announcement for somebody who lived in a building. So like being around so much stress and like sickness, it feels amazing to be in a place where I have access to ease and access to peace, and I don't have to think about. I was about to say I don't have to think about anything stressful, but for the most part, I can focus on my joy. I can focus on being in my relationships, and being my best self. So it's been great. I'm really, really blessed, lucky, fortunate. Pick a word to be here right now, for sure.
That's awesome. I'm definitely living a little vicariously through you at this moment, seeing those great waterfalls on Instagram. Like, wow, this guy's looking, he's relaxing. Sucks that it's over plus 100 degrees out there, but at least you have that access to the beach.
I'll take it, man. I think something that's been interesting about this whole period too is just being attuned to the vibration of a place. Because I think when I was in New York, for example, like, again, this was at the peak of COVID, but every day, everybody was just in the news, buried in the news, thinking about, what's happening, what it accounts, how safe am I, all of that shit. And now being able to step away from it and be focused on something else, be focused on like, all right, how happy am I really? What do I want to expand in my life? How are my relationships really like thriving and active? So it's a blessing and a complete privilege to like. I've been jokingly telling friends, I'm like, I'm definitely living that like white girl on a retreat life right now. So
I was gonna say you got a piece of the pie too now, brother.
yeah. Julia Roberts knew what the fuck she was doing. Eat, pray, love. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So my eat, pray, love is like rum punches and tostones, but I'll take it.
Love. I mean, that sounds like love to me. Good drinks, good eats. What else can you say?
Ain't bad at all.
Right. So, what you drinking on today? What you got?
I need to refresh. But this is, I've been drinking rum punches like crazy since I've been in Puerto Rico. And a good friend of mine, his name is Cesar Cordero. He actually was in the New York scene for a little bit. He's from Puerto Rico, but he worked for some Jean Georges restaurants. He worked at, I want to say the Mark and the Mercer Hotel. But yeah, it's the rum punch, two different kinds of rum. A light and the dark, and then I have some OJ, guava, and pineapple with some bitters, Angostura, but it's so sexy. So I just batched the juice. Actually, I kind of batched everything just now for this one. Typically, I'll put the rum in later because sometimes you may need something a little stronger.
Yeah.
But it's delightful. Like, Puerto Rico has definitely brought out the rum punch drinker in me. It was not something that was on my radar before living here, but it's a treat.
I got another one. I got a gem from Parcel.
What is it?
This Vimbio. This Albarreño, 2017. Martin Cruzat.
Yeah, I don't know that. Okay.
Pastor Selections.
Jose Pastor.
Rias Bajas. Like, it's pretty solid. Like, I went to, I was like, yo, I need a breakfast wine. Like, all right, take this Albarreño.
One of those Albarreños is like incredibly like salty and citrusy, or does it have a little bit more like roundness of fruit?
It's definitely a little more rounded. Definitely a little more fruit to it.
Okay.
It's not as like, there's definitely no, it's really interesting because like it really drink kind of like a Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of Albarreños do, like you have your like really like clean, crisp, like mineral driven, like dry Albarreños, and then you have those kind of like soft, like fleshy, more textured, more fruit forward. I don't know, Becky Albarreños, if you will.
100%, yes. Becky will approve of this. For
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
Which
this
is
this
you
is
got to have those Becky approved wines, you know.
they sell.
Becky's make the world go round. I don't know if you know that, but
I'm coming to find out. That's for sure.
yeah.
Word. So you're a sommelier, life coach, intuitive tarot reader. You were in Brooklyn for the most part, but now you're in Puerto Rico, taking on the islands, and now your mission is to innovate in order to create a community, to entertain and educate. And desire led to you creating the Gay Wine Club. You know, it's a social event series for queer people and their allies that want to drink great wine and learn about it in a fun and approachable way. You recently became a part of the Open Wine Forum, a collective wine professional of color dedicated to decolonizing the wine world, which I'm so down for. But before all this, you were from Milwaukee. How'd you get into hospitality? What'd your parents do? How'd you find your way into now doing all this great wine stuff, being a sommelier?
It wasn't even on my radar, to be honest. I mean, I grew up not really. I mean, like going out or going to a good restaurant was like Olive Garden or like Ponderosa, you know, like a steakhouse, and like going to Old Country Buffet. So we didn't really come from much. You know, like my mom was a single mother raising 3 kids on her own, and like legit built herself up from nothing. My parents were married, but they had a really like shitty split, and my mom had to start over from scratch. You know, like from bank accounts being like at zero. So we didn't really have a lot. She figured it out and also made things happen. But going out to eat was definitely like a treat, but we didn't do it too often.
Right.
And so in New York, my focus was just on like hustling, like trying to make shit happen. You know, everybody does. Yeah, so I got into the industry kind of by happenstance. I was at a place where I was unemployed for a few months. I was like eating like crackers and lunch meat every day, several meals a day, and like did not know what happened. And so I took my roommate's resume at the time and went to an open call for ABC Kitchen.
Yeah.
And walked in, and the manager, Krista, changed my life, really. So I walked in, and she was like, "You look cute." So I said, "You look cute." And we like kicked it for like 10 minutes. So like the interview was hanging out. And like I'm sure she knew, maybe she didn't know until like the day where I got on the floor, but like I had no idea who Jean-Georges was, and he's like one of the biggest restaurateurs in the world. And they're like talking about Jean-Georges style of hospitality. I'm like, bitch, I don't care. Like, I need a job, okay? Yeah, I got in the door. So I started as a back waiter, and I was awful. I was probably awful for like 2 months, but
yeah,
I got promoted to server. Actually, no, I was a great back waiter.
Yeah, you had to be good enough to get promoted.
Yeah, so I got promoted to server after 3 months. So like, I crushed it. But then when I got to be a server, I was definitely awful.
Right.
I was awful for probably like 6 months, but then I ended up being like one of the best servers there, and I quickly got promoted to bartender. So
nice.
Kind of changed my trajectory. It changed my world. It changed what I thought was possible for myself. And I was around people in this industry for the first time who were making a career out of this, who were I don't know, becoming sommeliers and things like that. So
yeah.
That changed everything for me.
That's awesome. That's a crazy beginning story. That's a really good beginning story from the bottom. So what was that turning point in your career where you knew that like, okay, I'm locked in, I'm in the zone. Now I want to accomplish a higher level. I want to become a sommelier. What was that turning point where like you knew you were in it?
Damn. That's a good question. I think it was so working at Charlie Bear definitely kind of it made me step my game up. It made me continue to see more of like what was possible, like being around like some of the best wine professionals in the industry, and just again seeing what's possible. You know, working at Charlie Bird, I had access to drinking some of the best wines in the world, meeting those producers, and my language, my vocabulary of experiences just began to expand. And so being at the Bird, my curiosity was piqued. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to make this also like a part of my experience. And at the same time, I had this idea growing for Gay Wine Club. And so I noticed more and more the deeper I got into like going to wine events and like going to tastings, I didn't really see people who looked like me. I didn't really feel a queer presence. And my mind always works to like fix a gap or to fill in the gap. And so I don't know. I talked to Grant Reynolds about it. I'm like, yo, I think I want to do this. I want to start a gay wine club. He was super pumped up about it, like really supportive, and he helped me kind of just get my foot in the door in terms of wine. And like, you know, he immediately put me in touch with some other like educators, you know, places where I could go to tastings and take classes. And he let me join the wine team. Like, it took a while. Like, I was definitely like studying, and I was like on the bench and like just in the cellar. But I would say after maybe a year of just kind of following and like learning, I was able to be on the floor. So it took a while, but I think the initial interest was just being in the culture at Charlie Bird, and yeah, just seeing what's possible. I think it's kind of the theme of my culinary or my service industry life. It's like, I had no idea this world was here. And then somebody like opened the door and I'm like, wait, what the fuck? That's what's happening over here? That's what's happening behind that door?
Yeah, right. No, I totally feel you on that. I totally agree, because there's so many times I feel like, okay, I know somebody's in that room. What's happening in that room? And all of a sudden you open it like, whoa, this is cool as hell. Like, why didn't you tell me about this before? Like, where was this my whole life?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was it.
So getting to that point, so what was your first VIP restaurant experience?
Ooh, you know what? I feel like it kind of all goes back to ABC Kitchen. Before working there, like, I had never even had like a rutabaga, you know, or like
what the rutabaga?
Exactly. So, or like I didn't know what ramps were, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like being able to be an employee there, I was able to like sit down and have that Jean-Georges level experience of heightened service, but also be treated, you know. So it was the first time where I understood what it was like to be taken care of at the place where you work, and also having world-class cuisine. So I think some of my earliest experiences were like just being able to dine as a staff member, and they like just crushed the table with food. And then again, like opening my eyes and expanding my world, that allowed me to see like, oh, so this is what people were doing. Like, so when I'm on the other side of the table, this is the kind of experience people are having. Okay, I get it now. But I mean, I think early on, like, I've definitely changed. Like, I don't go out a lot anymore because I spent way too much money when I was new in the service industry.
Yeah.
And so I'm big on saving, so I cook a lot. But early on, I used to be out all the time. So like, I would just, on a Friday night, I would like just go everywhere. So like Charlie Bird would be influential early experience. Gramercy Tavern.
Ooh, nice.
Where else did I go? I mean, I was all over, yo. You name it. Like Norita in the East Village, that was my spot.
You ever go to Blue Ribbon on Spring?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I spent all my money. Okay, so I stayed out.
That's the love of the game.
I guess it's, you know, I think something that I might do at some point is like start hosting or creating workshops where we teach people in the service industry how to manage your money. Because
that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, we make so much, and I think there's this culture, and maybe there's some change because of COVID, right? But
right.
I think there's a culture of I work hard. I want to like just. Wow, I remember like working a shift at Charlie Bird. I don't even like eat pasta that much, but I would just want a bowl of pasta. So I would be like, I'm about to go spend money. I'm about to eat this pasta. I'm about to drink this wine, and then like $200 later, I'm like, I should have just went home.
Yeah,
you know,
so just went home.
I get it. Like, we work hard. We also deserve to be treated well, but we also need to learn how to like manage that, taper that.
Well, because we're serving some of the best stuff in the city. We're drinking some of the best stuff in the city. Glasses on glasses, bowls on bowls on bowls on bowls. Eventually, I'm gonna want a Cavatelli. If I see 20 Cavatellis walk out the door, I'm gonna want a Cavatelli at this point.
Yes, give me that Cavatelli.
Setting us up.
Yeah.
Speaking about your experiences in that VIP experience you had, going out, spending a lot of money, how does that compare to your childhood?
Night and day. I mean, we didn't really go out much. You know, like my mom, she was a single mother with 3 kids, putting one kid through college, and like having 2 young sons. So like going out was definitely like a treat. It was a privilege that we didn't really get to partake in too often. So I don't know. Going out was like the Olive Garden. It was like Ponderosa. It was like diners. You know, and
Yeah.
when it was good, she would give us nice things because it's just, you know, kind of mom she was, but it wasn't like a staple. She was a person who cooked a lot. So, you know, fast forwarding to New York City, I think I probably went so hard, like spending all that money and going out because it's like, I can do this now, or like I have money to do these things. Yeah. And oh my God, ramps and oysters and what, you know, oysters. Oh my, yeah, you got oysters there. Yeah. So I like lost my mind for a little bit, but it was night and day, you know, and I think a lot of that too. I think self-worth is a big thing for me, and I think it goes from, or it stems from being in a place growing up of not having access to much, not knowing that this is possible for people who look like me to go into a place where I was living it. I had to like catch up to the reality mentally. I had to catch up to it because I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at now. This is what's possible. This is what will continue to be possible as my world continues to expand. So very different, very different.
Wow. Yeah, I can only imagine. I kind of feel the same way. My mother, she was, you know, leftovers queen, but when we went out, it was never really too crazy. Chili's, Applebee's, family diners around.
Oh, bitch, Applebee's, yeah.
Yeah, very similar.
America's favorite neighbor, yeah.
Yeah,
the riblet basket?
Oh, come on, forget about it. I was like, Mom, can I get a raspberry lemonade? She's like, nope. Couldn't even get a raspberry lemonade, but I got the food I needed when we went out. One of my parents got remarried. We went out a little bit more. Like we had a little bit more going out because, you know, a little bit more money was coming in, but still there was a lot of cooking at home, which translates into my current life. Cause like, yeah, I go out, but like there's a certain point I'm like, okay, I gotta start cooking for myself, you know, cause I'm spending that cheddar. You know what I mean?
That's it. I feel you.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this huge accomplishment of starting a wine club, the Gay Wine Club. You already spoke about your original vision going in. What is it like that now, especially through COVID? What's affecting those changes, and has your mindset changed or your mission changed with the club since the beginning?
You know, and to be completely honest, like I've been taking time away from the industry, from doing wine events, all of that for the past few months, because I realized how stressed I was, and how tapped out I was, you know. So I haven't really been giving it my focus. But I guess a new accomplishment that I need to mention, and this kind of segues into Gay Wine Club. I just won I'm one of 5 people who won a scholarship through Black Wine Professionals and Laurent-Perrier Champagne House. Yeah, oh, you know about that?
I do know about that. Yeah, what?
Yeah. So I got a scholarship to ultimately put me in a position where I can test for the Masters in Champagne. So that definitely has reinvigorated like my fire. But one of the things that I want to do with Gay Wine Club, and also with having more access to champagne and having this mastery of champagne, is create events with a queer focus, queer community focus, but also the money that we make from those events will be creating opportunities for queer people of color, more specifically queer Black people, to have free mental health services. So I think this whole year just really made me see how taxing the world can be for Black people, and how little infrastructure there is to ensure that we can have safe spaces to talk through those challenges. So I really want to do something about that. You know, while I have the power, while I have voice, while I have this skill set and this door open, I want to make the best of it and make sure that I take care of my people around me. So my focus is still on creating community. That's never going to change. My focus is still on creating events for people to feel whole, feel seen, celebrate each other, create a larger community. But I also want to take care of my Black people as much as I can too. So I think partying with the purpose is probably how it's shifting. So definitely heavily influenced by what's happened this year in the world. Yeah,
that's lovely, man. That's super cool. It's glad like it's the same mindset, just being like poured into different avenues now, because the doors are opening and you're still like giving that energy just in different places now. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I think
go ahead.
No, I think something that I've been thinking about a lot too with champagne is like it has this like regality behind it. And like I think champagne in essence, when you think about it, you think access, you think privilege, you think class, you think status. That's not necessarily associated with people who look like us, right?
100%.
So a big thing that I want to do in having this access is to kind of redirect that conversation, reframe it, and get more people, more brown people to be like, why the fuck not? Why not us? You know, why can't we take up space in this way? So I think my focus is shifting quite a bit to, I think, one of acknowledging our power, acknowledging our worthiness, and, you know, having the boldness to openly question that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I think, I don't know, being in Puerto Rico has made me like more radical. Maybe it's just more honest. I'm like, you know what, fuck that. No.
That's good.
No. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
That's perfect. So what's one thing that you didn't take into account in creation of the Gay Wine Club throughout its progression? Was it mostly the stress, or was there other things that kind of were like major obstacles that kind of got ugly a little bit to where like you kind of were like, I need to walk away 100%, but you kept going? Like, what was
That's
it?
a good question. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of like hiccups along the way for sure. I think wanting to stay true to the mission and wanting to continue to create community for people who aren't necessarily always invited into these spaces, more specifically like brown people and gender non-conforming people. Like, I always wanted to make a space where like it was open for, and like where people see themselves represented. But I think when a lot of people hear Gay Wine Club, like a big problem was always people immediately thought it was like just for gay white men, cis presenting gay white men. I'm like, no, my black ass is the person who runs it. No, it's not. So I think that the challenge, and it didn't necessarily get ugly, but it was just like the people who I wanted to be there, like, of course, everybody's welcome, but the people who I like was really hoping would show up didn't necessarily always feel like it was for them, and I had to like do more work to make sure that people knew that it was for them too. And then also a big challenge was doing everything myself.
Wow, yeah.
I didn't have a team. I didn't really have a team. Like, and to be clear, like I did have a lot of assistance in terms of I was able to use the space at Charlie Bird. I was able to get help accessing wine by being a member of the team there. But in terms of like promotion and like street team and like inviting people, making sure that people showed up, like hosting, pouring the wine, like I was doing that shit myself.
Wow.
So the challenge of like creating a business, so to speak, from the ground up, and then also like not really knowing what you're doing, like learning along the way, was hard. Is hard. So it wasn't all perfect. I did a lot, and I accomplished a lot, and I'm really proud of what I've been able to do. But it's been a rocky road and really humbling at times. And I think the challenge is like being thrown into a thing and not knowing what the fuck you're doing and expected to, because like other people, they hear the idea and they're like, oh yeah, that's phenomenal. Like they're excited to see what you're gonna do. And then it's like, I have to turn something out, but I'm missing like 3 parts. So how do I do this?
Right.
You know? So if I can succinctly say what the biggest challenge was, it was creating high quality content and maintaining a sense of self-worth when you maybe were starting at a deficit.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think it's always a struggle of establishing your self-worth and really like figuring out how to make shit happen.
Oh yeah. I mean, but that's a lot though, to do a whole like club and to get things organized and do all that just by your lonesome. That's a whole lot, and like a lot on your plate, but you still managed to do it. So does that make you comfortable enough to take on bigger, like more important projects? Like now you got the funding to go to, Champagne. Is that making you more like, is it easy now to do something at a higher magnitude because you've handled so much pressure?
Yeah, maybe it's like a little bit of delusion. I don't know, but yeah, totally. I think Gay Wine Club and also like winning the Rising Star Award with 750 and like now getting the scholarship here.
Yeah.
It's given me definitely like the fuel and the momentum to believe in my own magic a little bit. But I'm completely like delusional in a sense, but also like I'm fully aware that like I have, like it's not me, it's not all ego driven, right? Like there's other people that are quite exceptional too. So I'm really lucky to be in these positions. I've worked for it, but I'm also like really lucky at the same time. But yeah, absolutely. What do I want to do with it? I think is your question, right? What else do I want to do?
Like being able to not so much of what you want to do, just more so like, do you feel now if you were to take on a bigger and higher level, it's just easy? It's like clockwork now because you've taken on something by yourself. You were, a sole proprietor in your own ideas. So now if you take on another project, and let's say you have a team, it's effortless now.
I think so, yeah, because it's like once you get used to working doubles, and then you only have to work dinner again, you're like, oh, please, I got this. I know what I know how to conserve my energy. I know when I need to turn it up, like all of that. So like I've been prepared to handle a lot. And I do kind of feel like I'd say I kind of feel like a superhero to a certain degree of like, I know that I have these talents that I can pull out, and I know like how to do this, I can do that, I can do this. So there is a sense of ease that comes from just having to do it all and like put your head down and work through it. So yeah, I'm excited to see what else I can like pull out, learn and do. But yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited as well because I feel like you're like goddamn superhero. Better than Black Lightning. Come on now.
Oh, Black Lightning. All right. Yeah.
All right. So at this point, I would love to take a little break. We'll run some advertisement, give some shout out to the good old sponsors that's holding us down. And when we come back, we're going to talk about New York and how that we already really mainly touched on it bigly, but just want to hear more about how it featured in your career.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We'll be back in a couple moments. The wine enjoyed on this episode was provided by Parcel Wine Shop, a curated wine shop and online retailer with nationwide shipping, curated by a team of New York's finest sommeliers, located at 511 West 38th Street in Hudson Yards, New York City. Subscribe to Parcel's Wine Drop, a new delivery service featuring 3 hand-selected bottles for $95 per month. Parcel, wine for every scenario. Hey everyone, I hope you are all staying safe and healthy out there. The world right now is a scary place, and I truly believe that everyone should be taking the necessary precautions. In a city like New York, delivery services are literally saving lives, and here at Hot Plates and Grapes, we try to do our part to help as well. Instacart is an online delivery service where you can have a large range of produce, groceries, yes, even wine brought right to your door. Personally, I use it very frequently, and you would love how easy and convenient it is to use. So follow the link in our description box or go to Instagram and click our link tree to start shopping today. And remember, tip your delivery person and stay safe, everyone. Thank you. And we're back with the Hot Plates and Grapes podcast. I'm Aaron Mays. I have sommelier Eric Fleming, creator of the Gay Wine Club, as well as a member of the Open Wine Forum and scholarship awardee of the Black Wine Professionals. He wants to get that champagne mastery. I already believe it.
Wepa. Wepa.
And we're back to talk about New York, and pretty much like that pretty much changed your life, right?
Oh, completely. Completely.
Yeah, what was it? Did you come for opportunity? Did you have inspiration, or did you have any goal in mind that you want to accomplish in your life?
Ooh, man. Yeah, I had a lot of goals that I wanted to accomplish. Moving to New York, I think initially, excuse me, some friends and I wanted to start a theater company together, and they all graduated a year before me. So when I got out here to start the company, nobody was friends anymore. So like, what the fuck happened? And so like I did a show with that crew, and then just decided to stay out here to, I wanted, like I had dreams of being a performer and dreams of, and really it was just a lot of like growing into myself, right? I wanted to do something that allowed me to be in a position where I could entertain and educate. I wanted to like grow into myself as like a young queer person. and have like space away from like the narratives that I was telling myself that of what was possible for my life. And so I think ultimately all of those things ended up coming into play very different way than what I wanted or what I expected. Like I thought it was just going to be like through performance, and that avenue. I mean, shit. Being in the service industry, though, we put on a performance every night, right? So,
yeah, for real.
Yeah. So different intentions or different thoughts about how to start, but I got there. I got everything that I wanted out of the city for sure.
That's good. Were there any like art projects, any pop-ups or anything that happened in the time that really kind of like kept you around? Like any particular things that were just like launching around the city? Because I was aware of, like, in the past in New York, there was a lot of just like random things happening in the city, like that doesn't really happen that often, even before COVID and all these crazy shutdowns, that there was just like one text, boom, be here in 2 hours, boom, 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 boom. Was that like an enticing factor for you too?
I mean, yeah, I think there's just a crazy electricity about New York. And and I've been saying this a lot too over the past few months, that I feel like if I'm in New York, I know that I can make some magic happen, because there's like this energy, and there's like possibility, and people always want to collaborate in New York. So that's something that I appreciate about it. But like what kept me, honestly, I think it was the possibility of what I could grow into being in the service industry. I don't know. It was, again, my eyes were open to a lot in terms of, first of all, I made more money than I ever made. So that definitely,
for real.
So like being at a comfortable place financially, being able to eat whatever I want, drink whatever I want, and then travel and do these things, travel because of these things. It just, it all went back to being in New York City for me. It was like, this was the center of my magic starting to express itself. So it was a lot about New York that kept me.
That's really awesome. So
if that answers the question, I hope that answers.
100%. Because with that helps like keep your career going. Because I feel like if you're in a place that you don't enjoy being in, it's really hard to advance your career and advance like things you want to do. Yeah, you may be in a position of what you want to do, but it's hard to like grow if there's nobody in the area growing with you. If everybody's just stagnant, kind of where I'm from.
Yeah.
A lot of people just commit to this 9-to-5 life or very stable positions, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm totally down for it. But when it comes to your dreams and aspirations, people are like, what are you doing, man? Why don't you just get a job and just get a dog, start a family, post a bunch of pics on Instagram about how stable you are? Why are you risking it? What is wrong with you? Are you like stupid or dumb? Like that type of thing.
Yeah, and the thing about New York that I love too is people try shit. So like going back to what you said, like there was always like some new like event or thing happening that you would find out about. I think that speaks to the energy behind like, you know what, you're here, make some shit happen, create something new. What are you bringing to the city? Because everybody in New York is they are the big fishes of their small pond, and they're the best at what they do. So you have a city full of the people who are the best at what they do. So everybody's like, all right, well, what you got? What do you bring to the table?
Yeah.
We are all elevating this culture collectively. So what are you adding, right? And so that element was always there, and something that kept me in the city, because I was always like meeting somebody who's like, oh, this person's so dope at this. I want to like hear more about their story or learn from them, or maybe build with them. So it was always that kind of synergy, you know?
I totally agree with you. I was asked a question the other day about like, what has New York done for you? Like, what has it done for you as a person? I was like, wow, has it done for me? And I was like, wow, if I can think about it, most thing I could think of is like made me a man. It literally made me, like the time I've been here, the time I started, the time I'm here now, the focus and the energy and attention is so much different. I felt like I was 16 years old, in that time, but now I feel like I'm maybe 32. Like the fact that the way I'm like channeling in, the way I'm conversating, I can do this, do that. I have plans. I'm busy. I can't do that. I can't do this. Can't tie myself. Can't spread myself too thin. Just this whole like, I've like matured so much because of New York. So I totally get you in that statement.
Yeah, completely. I tell people all the time, and my apologies if this is taking off course, but my time at ABC Kitchen, for example, and I guess to a certain extent, this is just how I feel about New York City. It was like going to grad school. You know, it was being here. It has introduced me to a completely different social network. I've learned about myself. I've learned about like more things than I would have even thought in terms of like food, wine, how to sell food and wine, how to talk about these things, how to present myself, how to carry myself, learning about myself as a brand and creating products as a brand. So like all this shit I've learned just from living here. And like people would pay for the things that we know just from living here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
how long were you in the city for?
ooh man, 12 years.
12 years. Woo.
I know.
Hey, that's a bottle of Macallan right there.
Yeah. Come on.
Come on. So you mentioned ABC.
I had never thought about that.
Right.
Thought about that.
You're a bottle of scotch right there. Just
she has age.
Got age. 6 more years, you'd have been $76 a pour.
Damn. Well, it ain't over yet. I can come back, right? Check on my barrel.
Yeah. Right now, you're at 26. That's okay.
Yeah.
$26 a pour. I feel like
that's fine. That's much better than like the 2 per pour I was when I landed in the city.
I'm definitely a well tequila shot for sure.
Cheers.
Yeah. Does the hospitality industry like keep you in the city? Is there a drawing factor to it because of its expertise, diversity, cuisines, and the style of service?
Does it draw me back to New York? Is that what you're saying?
Did it keep you there? Does it have a
did it keep you
element? Yeah, does it have a certain element to draw other people in? Does it
I
have
think
that
so.
factor?
Yeah. I mean, I took a lot of pride in the fact that I worked where I worked, and I worked in New York City, and I could go anywhere and be like, I mean, we all have like a little bit of ego, and I know full well that when I go somewhere else, it's like, yeah, I worked at ABC Kitchen with Charlie Bird. People are like, oh, he's a bad bitch. And like, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. Absolutely. So like, I'm in Puerto Rico now, and I met some people who like run restaurants down here, what have you, and just casual conversations. And a friend of mine, after that chat, was like, they want you to work for them. And I was like, who? They're like, the girl we just met. I'm like, why? She's like, she wants you to work with them. I'm like, I'm not interested in that. They're like, well, they want you to work with them. I'm like, okay, cool. So I think that's the thing. Once you work in New York City, you're prepared to do anything, anywhere. And I stand behind that statement. So yeah, it kept me there. It made me feel pride in what I was doing and who I was growing into, for sure.
Yeah, lovely. So speaking of that, in New York, what was your best experience, so to say, going out in the town? Let's say you were painting the town red, or just even like a simple, like I like to do like, meetings with my friends, and we do like steaks, we cook a bunch of meats, or we do some seafood, just simple gatherings, and that's what I love. But like, what was your best experiences being in the city? If you can single out one.
Yeah, man, I've had so many. Shit. I mean, hands down, one of my favorite places that I've ever gone to, and one of the best experiences I've had, was a restaurant in Brooklyn called Winson, Winson. It's a Taiwanese American restaurant. So fucking good. And everything is affordable, but it was one of those meals where we sat down and we talked, and until we got our cocktails, and then from then on, actually, I would say until the first thing at the table, we talked. But then when everything started to hit the table, no more conversation. It was just, like all that. But yeah, that's a standout for sure. But some of my favorites, honestly, would just be like those random days where you're off and you find out another one of your friends is off, and like you meet up somewhere for like a crudo, and then you bounce around to another place, and then you go to a different place, and then like 6 hours later, you're like, man, we just had a night, Yeah. And I think that's something that's really magical about New York. You can kind of stumble into those kind of experiences out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm all for that too. I like to go sometimes. I like to get lost on purpose.
Yeah.
And just look around like, this is where I'm at. Maybe one day I'll find myself here, be like, yeah, I've been here before. Then you see a restaurant that just kind of calls at you. Like you can feel it. You walk by it, you see it. It's kind of just pulling you in. It's like kind of hit your soul. Like, come on, like try me. Yeah. You walk in next to it. Yeah. All of a sudden you're there, and it's like, well, I've been here for 2 hours. Oh shit. Like I've been here for a little too long. But that's great. And it's like, wow, where was I? Like, oh, somewhere deep off in the lands, just lost on purpose. But I found a gym. Go back to the friend, Joe, I found this place here. We got to go there. And then next thing you know, the fucking ball starts rolling. And it's like, yo, they're like, oh, I went here. I did this. I did that. I did this. I did that. And that's fucking New York, man. I love that shit.
And $600 later. No.
It's like, yeah, I'll see you in a month. I just accidentally blew half my rent. I'm sorry. So you have any worse experiences? Any ones that you were like, okay, you woke up, you were like, I fucked up. One of those things.
Oh man. No, it wasn't really like I fucked up, but for my 30th, I went to Jean George, no shade to Jean George, but the tasting menu is like $400, right? That's like before any kind of grab, before any tax, and I don't remember anything about it, except for it was really quiet and I could hear people's forks hitting their plates.
Ooh.
And I remember like the dance of how they presented things, but you pay that much, you're like, this is going to be one of the best meals of my life. Yeah, like I can't tell you one thing that I had to like change my life there. Versus, like I've been to other JG restaurants where I've had things that were like, oh yeah, but that meal in particular, I was like, huh. Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the worst, but I think what I'm speaking to is you don't always have to spend to have a meaningful experience and to have food that like blows your mind. You know?
Yeah. I 100% agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
When the expectations are high and you get let down, it really kind of hurts. Because when you swipe your card, you're just like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm reluctant.
I'm like, and also like made my roommate at the time. I didn't make this motherfucker go with me, but like they went with me, and I'm like, this motherfucker's not even celebrating anything, and they're about to come out like $500. You know what I mean? I'm like, I feel really bad. But hey, you live and you learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You live and you learn. So let's talk about some contributions, because I think your mindset is like kind of unmatched, and I feel like nobody's really bringing this energy to the industry like you are. So what do you feel like you're bringing from your mouth to my ears? What are you bringing, work ethic wise, your mindset and approach to the table in the hospitality industry that's setting you aside from everybody else in the lane as you?
Man, well, thank you for saying that, first and foremost. That's a really beautiful question too. I don't know. I think there's a through line in everything that I do. Like I'm a life coach. I do tarot readings for people. I do wine shit. Everything that I've always done, I wanted to entertain. I wanted to have a little bit of education in there as well. I wanted to enliven or like bring life to a space. And I wanted there to be an enlightenment aspect or like some kind of spiritual aspect where we're connecting on a core level. So I try to have those 4 E's, if you will, be a pillar that holds me up when I'm doing my work. So if I'm doing all those things and I feel like I'm doing it right, and I try to bring that into what I do in the service industry.
Oh, that's lovely. And I can see that. I feel like it's working really, really well.
Thank you.
What made you feel like it was necessary to establish your voice?
Ooh, I think I realized that people were listening. Yeah, I think when you get into a space where people are paying you attention or people lean into what you're saying, or either when people are looking at you to speak, you have to have something to say. And so I take that to heart. Like I come from, I think we as Black people in this country, we come from a lineage of people who have been trendsetters, who have been tastemakers, who have pushed the envelope. And so like, even if we aren't like blood related, I'm a firm believer that like those folks are our ancestors, like those are the people who feed us, who whisper those things in our ears, who give us that fuel to keep going. So it's like, I owe it to fucking MLK to speak up. I owe it to Harriet Tubman to like, to go out and be the wildest dream that the ancestors ever dreamed of. You know what I mean? So I think it's the long-winded way of saying it will be completely irresponsible to have an opportunity to speak up and not do it.
Yeah. That's lovely how you tied that all back to like the beginning times, because when I was younger, I would go to church and they would talk about like how comfortable our generation kind of is with being what we have freedom wise. So there was a constant reminder of like, look at your elderly people. They fought this fight for you. they're in wheelchairs, they can barely walk. You can see that the times took a toll on their body, but we're able to walk around in a certain freedom and a certain we have that style. We can set that trend because of the sacrifice they made. So I really appreciate you bringing that back around to the past, because that's awesome. Because that's literally that's homage, perfect, to the T.
And I think that's kind of where we're at now, though. I think about that a lot because of everything happening from COVID to everything post George Floyd being murdered. It's all felt unbearable. But then I stop and I think, and yet we still have agency, and yet we still are able to vote, and yet we're still able to walk around freely. So our ancestors didn't even have an ounce of that shit. They had no power, they had no agency, but they still made it through what they made it through.
Right.
And so if that's the blood that we have in our veins, if that's the spirit that leads us, please, we got this. We can do anything. We
got this.
We got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. So where do you see yourself? Where do you see your career going from here? It feels like you're at the ultimate point of relaxation, but you also have a mindset. But you also have a mindset that kind of is churning. It's always going. So how are you going further in your career with both of these kind of polar opposites? How are you going to mesh that together?
I don't know. You know what? I feel like this year is a huge year of transition for a lot of us. And so for myself, I've been kind of making a list of things that I want to manifest, things that I want to bring into the world. And one of those things was this scholarship that I just won for with Black Wine Professionals. So I'm really just trying to focus on my peace, my joy, my ease, but also being the best that I can be in terms of wine and accruing all that knowledge. And when I start to host events again, making sure that it's partying with a purpose, So I think, I don't know if it's starting a nonprofit or whatever it is, but I definitely do want to do something where I'm creating a fund for Black people to have free mental health services. And I'm also moving forward with my coaching business as well. About to release a series of workshops where I think the first one will be healing from racial trauma, but really just helping the collective reset and think about how we can move into or step into being our best selves. So I'm not saying no to myself right now. So how am I doing it all? I'm just developing, and I'm creating. That's kind of all I know how to do. It's just do some shit.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're back to the drawing board. You found your zen, your area, and you're just back to the drawing board, just reshaping, recentering yourself to just pour out more into the world again. I feel like you emptied the glass and now you're refilling the glass just to pour it out again.
Talk about it. That glass was empty. That's all it was, empty.
Give me those snaps.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, you said it. You said it exactly right. I'm in a period of. But this is where my mind wants to take me right now. I think that what this is showing us is we don't necessarily have to rely on the structures and format of the industry pre-COVID, because the world is not the same. The way that we create is not the same. The way that we offer products is not the same. So yeah, it's a really cool period of reinvention, and really anything is possible. Everything is virtual, right? So just do some shit. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just do some shit. Why not? Just do some shit.
Yeah, for sure. I'm liking that. And at this time, I really want to thank you for coming on my show. This has been super amazing. Every time we speak, I feel like I'm getting something new. I'm revigorating myself. So I really thank you for your point of view. I've definitely taken away a lot. And I really want to give you this time to you to plug in any project you're working on, anything that you want to speak about, show some love to, shout out grandma, all those people that you want to show love. I give you the floor. It's just your time.
Yeah, you know what? I would just say, just follow me on Instagram. My personal is Eflems, EFLEMS, or at the Gay Wine Club. I think all the things that I will be working on soon will be coming out on Insta. So just stay tuned, follow me, show love. That's it. Nothing specific right now. Everything is being fine-tuned, but follow me and stay tuned, I would say.
Yeah, stay tuned. That's what it's all about. just keeping the life. You'll see some lovely waterfalls. You'll see all the things that you can't have unless you live in Puerto Rico.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, but you'll encourage those, to find their moment, find their place, find their beach.
Yeah,
As
find
Corona
your
would say.
choice, find your blend.
Right. So I'm gonna top off my wine glass here.
Work. And
I-
I'll grab my lunch here.
Yes, I'm glad you have enough
It's
because
almost
it's I caught you at the great time because now is the perfect time. I want to, have you lead us in the toast. It's our time.
Ooh.
So if you have anything like your cheers for us for the rest of the day to send us off with, mine's usually hey, staying positive, testing negative. That's my go-to.
Oh, jeez.
So
That's
anything else?
amazing. That's amazing. That's really amazing.
That's life. That's life for me right now.
Stay positive, test negative. That's brilliant. Shit. What will my toast be? My overall one is like life, love, and happiness. That's always my go-to. But I feel like, I don't. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get too much.
Hey,
life, love, and happiness.
Life, love,
Actually,
and happiness.
No. I'll change that. Cheers to manifesting bigger and better and being more of your authentic, worthy self.
Ooh, cheers to that. Yes.
Wepa. Cheers.
Wepa.
Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm all about worthiness and stepping in our worth right now.
Oh, I'm with it. I'm right behind you. I'm under the wing.
Work.
So one last thing. One thing
Yeah.
Legacy a lot. I found out from you we didn't do that Charlie Bird, which is very interesting. Must be a Legacy exclusive thing. So let's pass it on to the rest of the world. After every the collab, you know it. After every meeting.
I might have to do like one of these because my hand is holding my phone. But yeah, we'll do it.
The beauty thing is, if you could probably like throw the phone and clap it, that'd be fucking perfect.
I'm not throwing my phone. Trying to pay for a new phone for me?
We don't have that in the budget just yet. All right, so don't throw the phone.
Yeah, okay. I can
So-
pass it.
So yeah, so the symbolism behind that is mainly just because after every meeting, all the information we got, everything we learned for that day in that pre-shift meeting, we would take us out. It would set the tone for the rest of the day. And if it was a solid clap, it was a good day. If
Yeah.
it was a fucked
Okay.
up clap, it's gonna be a fucked up day. So
All right.
it's a
my
little,
thigh.
it's a little early, so don't mess this up. I got a lot of things to do today.
All right, let's do it.
So it's on you.
It's on me?
Yeah, give me a 3, 2, 1, clap.
All right. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. No, that was solid. It was a delay.
We'll just play the internet.
I think
Exactly.
I think that was solid.